Hey everyone, welcome back to my now becoming series of Content Harbour build process. Today I just wanted to show you a little bit more regarding the audit trail possibilities within inside Content Harbour, just to show you some of the power that it has there and how it can make your lives easier and your team's lives easier. So without further ado, let's jump into the product and then we can start showing you a little bit more around it. So for this, we'll need an asset in order to show you some of the features and functions in here. So we'll just search for one of our assets. Three-way match, purchase order to invoice and receipt. So just using voice there to make it a little bit easier to search rather than typing. And as you can see here, we have our top match here, three-way matching. If we click on that, again, this is what I showed you in the last video. But today, really what we wanted to do is talk more about this family tree side of things. So if we bring up the family tree, you can obviously see we have one entry, one root entry against this one. So what we can do is we can click on that root entry and we're just going to start creating what I've called adaptations, but they're more of the audit trails that you have along the way. So we'll create an adaptation, and just to keep this really simple, I'm just going to number these up for quickness purposes. So you can see here that this one is just going to be called invoice 2. So we'll create the adaptation for that one. And you can see that the second adaptation is created, and then automatically that is linked to the first one. So you can see this is the root, and then this is the child adaptation. And of course, that's one way to do it, but we might go, well, invoice 2 wasn't quite right. We didn't really do that prompt quite as well. So maybe let's go back to our roots, as it were. We'll click on that one, again, create an adaptation, and we'll call this invoice 3. So this is our newly adapted version of our prompt. And you can see here that we can have now two prompts that are coming off of the root. So this prompt adapted again from the root, and so is this one. But prompt number 2 and prompt number 3 are not linked in any way, shape or form. So we can, again, create more audit trail in here. So we'll go to invoice 3, create an adaptation, and we'll call it invoice 4. And let's adapt that one out. And again, you can start seeing that there is a bit more of a linkage in here. So we've now got our root, our child, and our grandchild. And why not? Let's go one more outwards from there as well. Create another adaptation, create that number 5. So you can see here, you can start to build up this audit trail process. Now, if you're working in a team, there could be multiple people that are actually running these adaptations or changing the way prompts are working. And if they're storing them prompts back into this prompt management tool, obviously you've got a way of audit trailing. If prompt 2 in this case didn't really work and you needed to get back to the root with inside most of the products, that isn't actually possible. But here you actually have a backup copy of that prompt in place. So again, you can see here Gen 3, grandchild, child, and root, and then we've got our invoice 2 that sits off the top there as well. So we might decide that you know, we didn't really do 2 that well. Maybe that's not the one that we actually want you know, people to see and people to search for. And you know, there is a way around that, but let me just go back and show you with inside the search terms first. Because if we started to search again for that same entry, three-way match, purchase order to invoice to receipt. And we click on our search. We can start to see here that we have our first one, we have our fourth, our second, our third, and our fifth. They're all in relevance orders at this point, but you can see they're all coming up in our search term, and invoice 2 specifically is coming up in our search terms. So, you know, we want a way to maybe not get rid of it because we still want to know that, you know, it sits in play. So there is a way to do that as well. So we take our invoice 2 prompt and what we've called here soft delete. So if we click on soft delete, what that does is still shows the asset in place, but it is effectively then deleted. So if we then stepped back and done another search again, so we'll just come back out of here, clear our search boxes, and then research again. Three-way match, purchase order to invoice and receipt. So you can now see we have invoice 4, invoice 3, and invoice 5, but invoice 2 doesn't actually appear in our search list at all. So it's still sitting there. If we went back into our family tree, you can still see the fact that that prompt is there, and maybe it's the wrong prompt. But it shows the fact that there is a natural progression onwards inside these prompts. And that one might be an example of, yeah, well, this one's often an edge case. So let's say our grandchild prompt number 4, we could also look at soft deleting that one as well. So this one actually sits in a bit more of an audit trail row. So, Gen 3 obviously came from the invoice 4, which came from invoice 3, which then goes back to the root again. So again, we can delete that one. If we come back out and just search for our term again, three-way match, purchase order to invoice and receipt. And we do our search. You can see that number 4 is out of there as well. So it's not actually displaying it back. So when people are searching, they don't actually find that particular one, because obviously you don't really want them to use it if it's not the one actually that's needed. But maybe we decide later on, well, actually that is a good prompt. We did do it right in the first place. So maybe we need to put that back in play again. Again, it's as simple as just restoring your prompt back again, clicking on the restore button, and it just restores the prompt back into view again. So it gives you that ability to audit trail your prompts out. So you can see the initial one, you can see the one that you currently got in place, and the route that it's taking along the way. So all of the changes that you're doing, they're all documented, they're all audit trailed with inside of this. And there is one more feature inside of here. It's called hard delete. So hard delete is exactly kind of what it says there. It will remove the whole prompt out of your library. So if you want to remove something, it's not going to just remove that one, it's going to remove the whole prompt out. So maybe that's one that you might be careful on using, but it's something that you might have a prompt inside your system that just doesn't really work anymore, or isn't something that you really need, but it gives you a way of deleting that whole set of prompts out of your system if you don't need them. So I hope you liked that little demo. Again, back on our lineage and our audit trail function. I think it's one of the strong functions or strong features that we have inside Content Harbour, and that audit trail possibilities I think is really needed in the market at the moment. So again, we will be sharing the link. Please have a look around. Let me know what you think. It is in beta mode still, so any feedback is much appreciated.